So, just doing my coffee. I've literally, well, I've just finished, just come back from training jiu-jitsu this morning. And it was good. Yeah, hard because I've not been in for about 2 weeks. Because about just over a week ago, I ended up getting a stomach, like this stomach bug. I thought it was food poisoning. It was like, I thought I had salmonella or something, because I'd been on a trip and I got back off the plane. My dad picked me up, came home, and I had some eggs in and they were just on the side, and I don't know, usually I check absolutely everything, you know, because dates and things, and I had some eggs in, and I went to the shop and bought some fish. So I just had fish and eggs, right? And the fish were brand new, so I was like, right, it's not the fish, and I thought it were the eggs. So, so yeah, anyway, I got ill, and then about a week I was rough. You know, I was like sleeping 14 hours a night, and I couldn't train. I couldn't even look at a book, couldn't even read. So I've not felt like that for a while, and I think I just caught some kind of stomach bug, you know, at the airport or something. Which is, have you ever noticed, like, you know, whenever you get ill, if you travel a lot, it's always at the flipping airport, isn't it, where you find this stuff. So yeah, it's good to get back into jiu-jitsu and training. I've also been back training weights this week. So today we're going to talk a little bit about diet. I'm wondering what, right, it's because there we go. Right, so yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about diet. So, and what I do, I've done lots of videos on this, implementing a whole foods diet. Hey, how you doing? So yeah, I've done lots of videos on this and implementing a whole foods diet, but today I'm just going to talk you through it because not everything is on there, and I'll answer questions and things. So in the description I dropped a link to my website. So on my website in resources, I've got one called Diet Plans and Recipes, where I kind of explain a really good summary. Yeah, this is live. Yeah, of course it is. So yeah, I explain like a really good recipe of all the recipes that I use, and also my kind of strategy and philosophy on diet. And I've kind of moved around on this over the years, and I've now settled on the diet that I have. It's all whole foods, right? So that's number one. But I tend to go for, how do I explain it? I used to be strict keto. Now it's permanent low carb, and I'll explain everything. I'll go through the kind of website and explain why I do this. Because really the choice between carbs or fats is down to you. It's not as important as controlling overall calories. But what I do is I call it like, it's almost like Thomas DeLauer, one of the big influencers in keto, he calls it clean keto. There are actually quite a lot of carbs in it. So it's not what I would call strict keto. Like, it's not sort of sub 50 grams. It's more like 100 grams, 150 grams of carbs a day, maybe a bit more sometimes. But it's, I think Tim Ferriss in 4 Hour Body calls it slow carb. He has a nice way of explaining it called slow carb. Yeah, I'm in England, yeah, of course. Thanks, Jackie, yeah. Where are you? Are you in the UK? Just wondering where everyone is, by the way. So yeah, on the diet thing, right, I've actually got here now, look at this. Right, I eat this for breakfast, right? This is on my website, and on my channel I've got some cooking videos. One of the ones I say is, I call it like the one meal you can live off, and that's what this is. My cousin and my brother take the piss and call it gourmet beef, but it's literally just very lean shredded beef right? And I always use like organic beef, onions, peppers, mushrooms, loads of mushrooms, and then you just chuck in some like cucumber, a bit of salad, some tomatoes, a little bit of cheese, and you spice it up with like garlic, salt, pepper, normal black pepper, garlic, cayenne pepper. Today I put a bit of turmeric in. And it's absolutely amazing because if you think about the macros of that, especially in the morning, you want high protein in the morning. So if you're going to eat carbs, I would save them till later in the day, especially if you're going to train. So if I get up and train jiu-jitsu early or weights early, usually train jiu-jitsu like really early. So if you're going to train early, I think there's a misconception that people think, oh, if I have a bit of breakfast before I go, it will give me energy. And that's actually nonsense, because that food cannot get through your system that quick. It might take like 2-3 hours for it to get through your system. So when you're training in the morning or doing some exercise, you're not actually burning your breakfast. You're burning the stored glycogen in your muscles, which has been stored there from the night before. So one of the things that eating carbs does is it gives me brain fog and it makes you feel sleepy. So if you're going to eat carbohydrates, only eat whole foods carbs. Don't eat bad white carbohydrates like chips and shit like that. Eat something like potatoes or something like this, and eat it at night before as your last meal, because that's the point in the day where you're done with all your work and achieving what you want to achieve or whatever you're working on. And it's a time to sort of slow down and allow your body to slowly relax before you go to bed. You don't want to eat too close to bed. You want to give a few hours and just have your carbs then. And what it does is it tops up the glycogen in your muscles, might digest, and then your muscles are full then. So when you go and train in the morning, you're actually using that stored glycogen. You're not using your breakfast. I mean, it really, I generally don't eat before I train because it's pointless. The hunger is just a ghrelin hormone telling you that you're hungry. You're not fueling yourself. So when I have breakfast, I've got a recipe on that website and also on my channel, the keto eggs and salmon. So I just have eggs and fish right in the morning, something like oily fish like salmon, which is really good for you. And eggs are almost like complete nutrition. So what you've got there is fats, a lot of protein, a lot of fats, which are better in the morning. You want that kind of fats with the protein in the morning, and then you don't get sleep in it. Almost helps. You need a certain amount of fats anyway, especially if you're training. And I actually do really well on ketones, so I do well on a low carb diet. I feel okay, I don't get tired or anything like that. So yeah, that's what I would do. So I'm just gonna have a mouthful of this. I'm gonna stop eating it. So on the website, I've just got it on the tablet here. If you go onto my website, you'll see on the diet plan, just a second, yeah, diet plans and recipes. The first thing at the top, I've just got it on the tablet here. The first thing on the top is I explain that I'm implementing a whole foods diet and what it's for. So if you think about what a whole foods diet's for, it's like, food is a fuel, right? So I eat functionally. It's a fuel source. It's like if you have a sports car, you will put premium petrol in it. In the UK, we call it petrol. If you're in the US, maybe call it gas. But you want to put premium or super, as it's called, in a sports car because you want it to run off the best fuel possible. And that's the same with your body. And if you look at sort of diet and things and food, a lot of people, you know, humans, we're quite decadent. We eat for the taste or for the flavour and all that kind of thing. And whilst flavour is important, it's secondary to eating functionally. So I always try and eat functionally. I always eat like what is going to give me the best possible fuel source. And that's important because everything that we're trying to do, even if you're not really exercising and you just want to perform mentally, like at your work, you still need to fuel your body properly. So there are lots of things like brain foods and things like this. But fundamentally, the most important thing is eating whole foods and not processed foods. And so we want to perform at our best, right? So on my website, on the diet plans and recipes page, I've got this section here where I just say my approach to diet is to prioritise the following: whole foods first where possible, avoiding processed foods, and it's really hard to 100% cut out all whole foods. It's quite hard, but you can cut them out as much as you want. And I've got this book here, right? Chris Van Tolken, I don't know if you know this one. It's called Ultra Processed People, right? Why do we all eat the stuff why do we all eat stuff that isn't food, and why can't we stop, right? Now this is obviously a clickbaity title, but you can see the bread, right? Now if you buy bread from the supermarket or something like this, it's full of shite, basically, like preservatives and all this. And if you go online and look at Chris Van Tolken, he's done loads of he's all over YouTube and TED Talks and things, and some of the stuff he exposes is absolutely mental. And he explains that the typical Western diet consumes about 80% processed foods, 80%. And it's got, it's not going to kill you, but it's not great for you. And it's slowly, like, one of the issues with processed foods is they use a lot of like inflammatory, body inflammation is so important for your overall health, because all the big killers, you think about all these terminal diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, diabetes, they're all based on inflammation, right? So one of the best things you can do to almost ensure yourself or lower the chances of you getting a terminal disease like that is to lower your body inflammation. So I take inflammation really seriously, and this is one of the main reasons why I eat whole foods. Because what is a whole food? A whole food is just where you can see an ingredient in its sort of original raw form, whether that's just a piece of meat, a potato, a carrot, a celery, whatever, right? So it's just in its raw form. And whether you eat meat or not is irrelevant. You still want to go whole foods. So like for the people that are on like a plant-based diet or something like this, or vegetarian, there is a tendency there to, you need protein. So they start trying to get protein from all these kind of like manufactured meat alternatives, right? And that's the wrong way to go, because all them are processed foods. So no matter what you do, you always want to go whole foods. The next one, so whole foods number one. Next one is high protein. You want a high protein diet. So you've got to prioritize protein. And so what does that mean? Right, okay, so I'll go into protein in a bit in more detail, but you've got to calculate how much protein you need daily, right? And you want enough protein, not over the top, but just enough. But you want to make sure you hit it, because it's the most important of the macronutrients is protein, because it's the building block of life. And I get mine from good quality animal meats. I always try and go organic where possible. It's not always possible to verify that it's organic, but I always try and get the best quality meat that you can. Generally lean, because whilst you can get animal fats, I think your fats are better coming from things like nuts and oils and things like that, avocados, that kind of thing, plant-based fats. So you'd want to try and get lean protein. If you're, I do have a section on here. If you're not eating meat, or not eating fish, not eating meat, then it's going to be harder. You can still get the protein, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. One of the issues with using non-meat-based protein is making sure you get the correct amino profile. I remember going through this with my personal trainer. He was helping me with a friend who was vegetarian, and it was like, right, okay, what you'll find with plant-based diets is you'll tend to people tend to be like vitamin B12 deficient because they're not getting enough. And then the other one is they don't get is leucine, which is a key amino acid. It's like comes from the protein that it's not abundant in plant-based sources. So when you're on a plant-based diet, you just have to eat a shitload of plants, basically, and nuts and things to get the protein. But then you've got a problem with the actual aminos. So what do you do with the, you've got, basically you can do it on a vegan diet with protein, but it is you just have to be so much more careful with your diet, and probably a bit of supplementation is wise. So like say you can get leucine in powder to make sure and check your aminos, making sure you're getting the right amino profile. And that's just because, right, I understand the reasons why people go plant-based, and it's good, you've got to support it, that's their choice. But it's just not as effective protein as a good quality animal protein. So you have to make sure you're supplementing it. B12, yeah, everyone thank you very much. Yeah, so you can do that. The next one, right, so you're eating whole foods, right? You're prioritizing protein. And then the other one is make sure that you count you low overall calories, right? Because obviously this is calorie restriction is it's almost like the hallmark of longevity. Restricting your calories is the best way to ensure that you live a healthy, long life. Because what is this about, right? Longevity. My goals are twofold. I want to keep a nice shape, so building muscle. I don't want to be massive. I used to be like that, like when I was 20, I just wanted to be a meathead. It was just like, weight training. I don't want to be massive, but I want a good shape, a nice aesthetic shape, and athletic. But so I've got that as one goal. My next goal is longevity. So I want to, and it's all about not dying of an early death, so not catching a terminal disease, right? So low overall calories, and I'll talk about how to measure calories and how to because there's a few. One of the issues, right? So if you're say want a diet for training and you want to build some lean mass, there's a conflict there, right? Building mass requires a surplus of calories, yet longevity requires calorie restriction. So you've got to learn to be able to hack it, which I'll go into. And the final point on diet is I have generally low carbohydrates, and most of that is to control things like blood sugars and lower my overall inflammation. So one of the things I do regular, and I advise you to do, is get a blood test done just to know where you are with all these things. And you can get a blood test done. A really simple one is Medichecks. So just go on Medichecks website, and there's an expensive one. It's like quite expensive now, probably nearly £200. I think it's called the Advanced Sport one, where they measure all your hormones. It's like 48 biomarkers, but I still think it's good value. And what you want to do is they'll measure your body inflammation, they take your blood, and you can pay a bit more money. So it's one of these at-home kits, but you can pay a little bit more money, and they will then to go to a clinic. So if you don't like drawing your own blood, you know, you get one of these little lances that you've got to drip into. It's not the best. So the easiest way to do it is you pay a little bit more money, and you can nip into a local clinic of your choice, and they'll just draw your blood for you, and then you just post it off, and you get it back, and it's really Medicheck. So it'll tell you, like, you get some doctor's advice. So if there's any issues, like check your liver function, kidney function, all the protein, all your hormones, your inflammation, and everything basically. And I use that as a way to measure where I am in terms of inflammation. But I mostly use the blood checks, diet, but supplementation, because you can tweak your supplements according to, there's a range inside every one of these biomarkers, like a healthy range. Sometimes you have to interpret it, because what they call normal range is it's the general population, and we don't want to be the general population. We want to be optimized, don't we? So sometimes you have to know where to put it. There's certain things, like a low carbohydrate or a keto diet will generally result in slightly higher cholesterol, slightly, but not dangerous, and that's okay as long as you regulate it. So that's what you can do. So yeah, those 4 things are whole foods diet, right? Cut out as much processed food as you can. You know, every now and again you're going to have a bit of bread or something like that. That's fine, but try and get it from the freshly baked, rather than the sort of packaged up special that's got preservatives in it. But cut back on all that stuff if you can. So you want whole foods diet, high protein, best quality protein you can, low overall calories, and then generally low carbohydrate. Right, and I've got some videos on there. Next section I talk about, do you want carbohydrates or fats? This is a personal choice. I perform very well on ketones, so this is like, so carbohydrates, that's like your main fuel source, you know, just straight to flipping, you know, energy, glucose, all the rest of it. Get stored as glycogen in your muscles, and then you're ready to use it. Fats is ketones, so this is, you know, ketones, and I perform very well. To extract energy from fats it's a lot more labor intensive for your body. So you have to get used to it. You know, they call it getting fat adapted. As you go through there, you might have heard of the keto flu. I'm not going to go into that now, but I choose lower overall carbs for health reasons, because, and I explain on my website, because I am lowering my body inflammation to reduce the risk of catching, you know, if you look at all the big killers, Alzheimer's, all the rest of it, diabetes, they're all based on inflammation. So I choose lower carbs. I do eat some, tend to eat them at night, but I don't want too much, because I want my body inflammation. The 2 things that are going to help your body inflammation are whole foods and lower overall carbs. So that's what I do, but that's up to you. Next section, I go into estimating your daily calories. I think this is important. So if you think about calorie restriction, so reducing the amount of calories that you consume, that's the best thing that you can do for, one of the best things that you can do for your overall health and longevity. And what I do is, so on my website, I've got a little link there to a free calculator that I use. Now, these calculators, they're just an estimate. There's no way, it's very difficult to sort of with any of these calculators to really understand exactly what you want to do is you want to know where your maintenance calories are. Maintenance calories means to maintain your current weight. Basically, it's the amount of calories that you're consuming each day. So the input calories, dietary calories, versus what your body is consuming And that's your maintenance. So if you imagine, if you matched your maintenance every day, no matter what, and based on your current activity level, and you maintain that, you wouldn't lose or gain weight. So you want to find your maintenance first. And this free calculator, it's just a guide. What you do is you stick in your details. So you want to estimate, it's just got some guidance like estimated level of activity. So what's your activity level, how much you're training, or how much activity, how active are you, your age, your weight, your height. It's just a really simple thing. It just gives you an amount of calories, right? And then you want to start there. So if you've never done this before, counting calories, you want to start there, right? So if you get, I don't know, say for argument's sake, your maintenance, as a guy might be 2,500 calories or 3,000 calories, whatever it might be. And then as a girl, it might be nearer 1,800, 2,000, something like this, whatever, right? You find out where it is. You want to make sure that when that's your daily allowance, right? And then out of that, you're going to say, right, this is how much protein I need, right? So you calculate, I'll go into, like calculating protein is 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of lean body mass. So you need to kind of work out what your overall body fat percentage is, basically, just estimate. Right, so you know, if you're sort of 20% body fat, then take 20% off your total weight, divide it by pounds, and then that's how many grams of protein you want. And I think you're all right to go a little bit more. So you first calculate your maintenance. Let's say you've got two, I'm going to do for argument's sake, 2,500 calorie maintenance. Your 20% body fat, that means you've got 2,000 calories to calculate your protein. Your protein, I don't know what your weight is, right, but hang on, I've done all this wrong. Right, you'll have to run the maths. Basically, right, for me, I eat at least 150 grams of protein a day, maybe 200 grams of protein a day. Right, some days I can eat a kilo of meat. Right, so once you've worked that out and you know that, let's say I take 200 grams of protein, right? Each gram of protein's got 4 calories per gram. So that's 800 calories out of your 2,500, right? The rest then you work out what is fats, what is carbs, according to whether you want to go high fat, low carb, right? Now, so let's say you've got your maintenance dialed in, you've got your amount of calories dialed in, you know what you're working out there. The next thing to do is decide what you want to do. Are you just maintaining weight? Are you going on a bulk? Do you need to go on a cut? Do you need to cut some body fat? And the way to do this is, if you're going on a bulk, don't go on one of these crazy dirty bulks like where you're just literally feeding yourself. You want to always go on a lean bulk and a very shallow cut. So what I do is I explain, you want to find your maintenance, right, and use a calculator to get your maintenance, and then measure yourself over a week. And if you're losing weight on that, what the calorie calculator says, you need to just top up a few more calories until you find your balance. And if you've done this enough time, you kind of know it. You just get a feel for it. So just find out where your maintenance is, and then depending on whether you're going on a bulk or a cut, if you want to lose some weight, don't go on an absolute, don't starve yourself because it's not sustainable. All you want to do is move your calories, something like 200 to 400 calories per day on average. So if you're going on a cut, just maybe 400 calories below your maintenance. So if your maintenance at 2,500, just cut by 400 calories. And if you're going on a bulk, just put 400 more on. So maybe go, 2,900 or maybe 3,000 at the absolute most. But don't start eating 4,000 calories, because one of the issues with the bulk is it takes a long time to build muscle, but it doesn't take that long to build fat. So all the excess calories are just going to get stored in fat cells, right? So to me, it doesn't make sense. And the other one is, you've always got to have in the back of your mind that what I said about lowering inflammation and maintaining low overall calories for longevity. So that's why I would always say go on a lean bulk, because you don't build that muscle that quick, and if you just put on loads of weight, it's just going to make it harder for you to shift. Yeah, you can once in your life try something crazy and just go on a stupid lean bulk for once, but it's not healthy to maintain a position. Like, it's not healthy to overeat, so you've always got to worry about it. And this is how you do it. So if you think, oh, I want to be mindful of how many calories I want to consume for my health, but I also want to grow a little bit. So you're only moving it a little bit. 400 calories that way, 400 calories that way. And that's what you do. You just play with that. So if you're going to build muscle, your maintenance will steadily increase over time, because you just get bigger, heavier. And all you want to do is just move 400 calories either way, depending on what you're doing, these like mini bulks and cuts, or whether you go on a, if you're new to training, you might want to go on like a 2-year bulk, and almost like just get a little bit fat and ugly for 2 years just to build the base. But don't overeat massively. Just stay within that range, and that's all you need to do. And then you just split your calories into 3 or 4 meals, right? Okay, next section, benefits to eating meat. I'll go through benefits to eating meat, and then I'll talk about meat-free, plant-based protein. Benefits to eating meat, right? Protein is fantastic. When I say meat, any kind of protein as a macro, whether it's meat or plant-based. The good thing about protein is it's the most filling food, right? So if you ever go and eat chips from McDonald's, they don't fill you up. You just need more, they'll never fill you up, and cakes and all that stuff and all this shit food doesn't fill you up. But if you ever eat like a piece of steak or, something that's high protein like that, you're full, aren't you? You're done, right? And that's because it's very satiating. So protein's really, really full. Makes you really full, really satiates you, fills you up. And that's really good, because for the calories, for how much it fills you up for the calories, it's really efficient. So it stops you eating. It's the best way to stop you eating and fill you up, satisfy you. Also, just in consuming protein, your body, it's got a higher thermic effect. So you actually, your body needs to use more energy just to digest it. So you actually burn more calories that way while you're eating it. And then the other big benefit of eating high protein is you actually change your body composition. So if you're eating a really good whole foods diet and you're quite advanced with training, you don't have to train that much. Most of the work is in diet, and as long as you eat high protein, you'll maintain a decent body composition. That means you'll have lower body fat and a higher amount of lean mass. And that's one of the benefits of eating protein, because it will literally make sure your body composition is where it should be. And just once you've got that lean mass, let's say you've changed from, because it does take a lot of work. Let's say you're a little bit overweight and you've not been training and you've not got much lean mass and no tone. Once you flip that, just by having that body composition where you've got lower fat and higher lean mass, you'll just burn calories. Your body just burns it just being alive. It makes it so much easier. And it's like what I said in my video on Christmas Day, where I said about the compounding effect, like compound interest. All of these things are hard to do, but the longer you do them, the easier it gets for you. And then, after 2 years of really focused diet and training, you'll be in great shape. Add another year, it starts getting easier. And then it gets to the point where like you hardly have to train, you just keep that tight diet, and it becomes absolutely fantastic. So the longer this goes on, the longer you sort of eat high protein diet, the easier it is to maintain a body composition. So yeah, in terms of meat-free plant-based protein sources, I've been through this a little bit. One of the issues with plant-based is you've got to watch the amino profile. So it is possible, but you have to eat a shit ton of things like chia seeds and all that, and nuts. And when I do some vegan cooking, I've got some recipes. You can use nuts in place of cheese. Like you can actually get certain nuts like pecans to taste like cheese if you process. Well, you got to dice them up basically in a blender. But yeah, I am not an expert on protein, on meat-free protein sources. Particularly vegan, it's a very tight, hard diet to do. I have tried it, you can do it, but you've got to eat a lot more basically, and then you want to watch your B12 and also things like your aminos, which I advise there. Next section, tips for eating. I'm not going to go into that, I'd love to a little bit more. I've got a friend who's really into vegan, he's a vegan and he takes it seriously. I've tried it. I would avoid the fake meats and all the processed vegan foods, because I think like there's an assumption that just because it's vegan it's healthy. No, it's only healthy if it's whole foods. So you want to avoid all that processed crap, the same no matter where. Next one, I've got tips for eating out. So I like to cook at home, so I'm quite lucky that I can cook 3 times a day from scratch, all foods. And I appreciate that not everyone's in that position. People have got to go to work and everything. I generally work from home. I've got an office, but generally just at home, and I've got lots of time to cook and I enjoy it. And if you're not as lucky to do that, let's say you have to go to the office, because I used to have to work in the city and commuting. And when I was doing that, you just have this tendency to sort of go into, I don't know, I'm not going to say the supermarket brands or shops or whatever, your locals, and just pick up like a meal deal or something like this. And that is just the worst thing that you can have, all them sandwiches. And I would rather not eat than eat that, right? I remember a few years ago, I put on loads of weight when I was starting the business, because I was running around the country, trying to sell software and in my car, and 12 points on the license and everything, just marching up and down the country trying to sell software. And what I ended up having to, what was important, when I was traveling, you end up eating shit like service station dinners and pulling into services, or whether you're in the office and things like this, you're just eating shite like pasties and Greggs and, I shouldn't say that, no brands, all the crap. You want to avoid that, because that's just going to put on so much weight, and it's all processed foods. So the tips for eating out, first thing, like if you're going to go into a restaurant, don't assume that all those restaurants are that are using whole foods and they're not going to use anything processed. What you've got to realise is any establishment that prepares food outside of your house, it is in their interest for that food to last as long as possible, right? And you've got to think about whose interest is it in. Are they thinking about your health or the shelf life of that product? So that is the first thing to consider, right? And when I choose at a restaurant, like basically I just eat steak and veg, and if it's like steak, veg and chips, just tell them to get rid of the chips and add salad, so or more broccoli or something like this. And don't ask for sauce, nothing like that. Try and do without the sauce, and just that'll be enough. When you're out, don't worry too much about micronutrients. Don't worry about whether you're getting enough fruit and veg. Cover that when you get back home. All you want to worry about is prioritize protein when you're out. Just eat protein. Try to reduce the amount of processed foods. So if you're in a restaurant, just get meat and veg. To be honest, when I'm at home, I just eat meat, salad, meat, veg on rotation like that, and that'll just give you a really good, because there's carbs in the veg or salad, but not too much, and it's not processed. I'll just eat meat, veg, meat, salad, meat on rotation. So you want to try and get as close to that when you're out in the restaurants. Avoid the sauces. Just go for like meat or chicken and veg. If it comes with like maybe potatoes a little bit, okay, but if it comes with like chips, just don't ask for the chips. Just put salad on, or extra salad or extra veg. If you're out in the office and it's lunchtime or you're on the road, my advice would be, what I do is, if you're going in a service station, don't get a sandwich, right? And I know there's them protein drinks and, you know, the grenade bars and all the rest of it. That is a last resort. What you're better off doing, I just go to the fridge and get a pack of cooked chicken and like a couple of, you can usually get them pre-packed boiled eggs. It's not going to be the best eggs, you know, when you buy eggs, you always want to buy organic, so they're not going to be that. But 2 cooked eggs and a pack of cooked chicken, and I would just eat that with like water or a black coffee, and that's it. Avoid anything else, no crisps, no snacks. You want to kill all them processed foods and bad carbohydrate cravings, basically. And that's why I go low carb as well, because it just kills them cravings. But if you nip into the service station, pack of cooked meat, it's not going to be the best meat, but you're prioritising protein here, and a couple of boiled eggs or whatever, and that's it. Maybe you can add like a pack of, you know, these pre-prepared salads if you want, that's fine. But the problem with eating the salad, you know, in the car, it goes all over the bloody place. So whereas if you can, you know, you don't need any bread. And that's how I would do it. And just when you're out and about, just try and fast while you're out as much as possible. So basically reduce the amount of food that you eat. Next one is talk a little bit about supplementation. So obviously you've got your whole foods diet, you're keeping it high protein, you're trying to cut out all the processed foods. The next one is, like I said earlier, when you get your blood test done, you want to look for things like little deficiencies. So in terms of supplementation, this is down the pecking order. If you think of the priorities is whole foods, high protein, low overall calories, right? Looking at macronutrients first, then micronutrients. So you basically just want to eat meat and salad or meat and veg, right? And then you might need to supplement, right? And there are certain there's 3 supplements that I've got here that I would recommend everyone have, right? And that is creatine, right? Everyone thinks creatine's for like weight training. It kind of is, that's what it's famous for. But creatine has so many benefits. It's also, I haven't got the information to hand here, but I think if you go on, I think it was Huberman Labs podcast when he had Andy Galpin in there, and they were talking about the benefits of creatine, and the research now is it is so good for brain health. So anyone that, like, you think about, and we talked about lowering body inflammation for things like Alzheimer's, the other thing you can do is have creatine to boost your brain health. So there's, you know, whole foods, lowering overall calories and lowering sort of bad carbohydrates will keep your inflammation down. And just the whole foods itself is like brain fuel, like good omega-3 fatty acids and things like that. But then you want creatine, right? So your 3 most important supplements: creatine, collagen, and glycine, right? Why collagen and glycine and creatine, right? Creatine, for obvious, it's good for muscle recovery, so you should be training anyway, and it's really good for brain health. Collagen, if you think about it, your biggest organ on your body is your skin. It's all collagen, right? So you want collagen protein, right? It's like a collagen peptide. So I think I might have put a link. If I haven't done, if you message me, I can tell you which products I use, where to get it, on all these things. I haven't put it on here. I might add it to my website, exactly where to get it. So you want collagen, because that's your skin. And then glycine as well. So a lot of people take collagen, but not a lot of people take glycine. And 1/3 of collagen, of your collagen, is glycine. And glycine kind of promotes the collagen turnover. So this is like the generation of new, because your skin is constantly, you've got like 3 layers of it, and I don't know the science, but it constantly grows outwards, and the outer layer is actually dead, and it constantly, so that collagen turnover, glycine promotes that. Glycine's also good for, it promotes glutathione, which is for like your longevity, and it helps the collagen basically. So just, if you've never had proper collagen and glycine supplementation, if you try it, so just have them, creatine, collagen, glycine. And the collagen and glycine, after about 6 months, your skin, you'll start noticing like, that's, like your skin will get better, it'll get healthier, clearer, and it keeps it elastic. So if you think about it, as we age, this is why people get like poor skin and wrinkles, because your skin, if you think in evolutionary terms, right, your skin is not that important. It's almost sacrificial. It's like, once you're old enough and you've had kids and you've looked after your kids, you're kind of done then. And that's when we can let you fade away. And if you think your skin is like the biggest organ on your body, one of the best things that you can do, if you're going to live that long, healthy life, you want your skin to be in the best condition. So, and our bodies cannot produce enough glycine naturally. There's always a slight deficit, and this, over the years, this is how your skin gets worse and worse, and eventually when you're very old it gets very, very thin and brittle, and all you have to do is hit it with any sort of small thing and it will just burst open. So if you want to keep it really healthy, thick and smooth, glycine and collagen. So where does glycine come from? Well, naturally it comes from like animal skins. And so if you think about a chicken, if you cook a chicken, you've got the skin and the ligaments and things like this, right? So like glycine and collagen, they're good for like skin, and also joints, like keeping your joints healthy, and or your ligaments. So, I think historically people used to eat the whole animal, like a whole chicken, like everything, guts, skins, ligaments. But now no one bothers. People just go for like straight for chicken breast, and they don't have any skin. And it's like, what you're doing there is you're not consuming enough glycine. Even more of a reason why you need to supplement, because slowly over the years your body loses glycine and collagen. So what I do when I cook a chicken, I eat the whole flipping thing, all the guts and all the ligament, get in a leg and eat all the skins and all that stuff, because it's like natural glycine. But I also take glycine with my collagen as a supplement, and you can mix it in to like a little bit of water. It's absolutely disgusting. Creatine these days doesn't taste as bad as it used to do. I remember like years ago when I was weight training, I used to take creatine. It used to make me gag. It was absolutely horrendous. It's not that bad now. You can get flavoured, but I wouldn't bother. I'd just go plain. You can mix it into things like yogurts or whatever, or even your food, like if you're making eggs and things, you can even mix in collagen and glycine into anything and just consume it. So yeah, creatine, collagen, glycine. In terms of, I've got this section here now, tips on supplementation following a blood report. So you get your bloods done, Medichecks or wherever you want to go, right? And then you get like some doctor's advice, and then where do you go from there? So you first you want to do is you want to look at your hormones. So I've got a lot of experience with like male hormones. I've never been on anything like TRT or anything like that. I'm completely natural. And that's because I've been able to maintain my hormones at a very good level. What keeps your hormones at a good level? Well, eating a really good, clean, whole foods diet for one, training, and little I'm going to say daily wins in life. So if you're hitting your goals and crushing it and keep moving, if you're just working on your journey and you keep getting little bits of success, every time you get a little bit of success, it gives you a little boost, and you actually get a hormone boost out of that. It's a bit like in the animal kingdom when the chimps are fighting for top spot, who's going to be the alpha male. The person that wins that fight gets a boost in testosterone. The person that loses gets a dip. It's the same with any win in life. You don't have to kick someone's head in. Just win in. I've wrote this piece of work. I finished that project. Little wins like this, small wins each day, and that's why I like. I'm going off topic now, but journaling again. You can count your wins each day. There's a little psychological boost. But you want to measure your hormones. So like when you get your bloods done, look at your hormones, right? I'm not as experienced with female hormones, very experienced with male hormones and helping people because I do it myself. But obviously female hormones, same thing. You want, there's always a range in one of these blood reports, and so I'm going to talk about male hormones because I understand them really well. So everyone likes to count how much testosterone they got. Highest testosterone. That overall testosterone measurement is just one marker. It's not actually that important. What's really important is the percentage of that overall testosterone that is free testosterone. So it's possible to have really high overall testosterone, but very, very low free testosterone, because it's the free testosterone that is actually available for your body to use. And when you're healthy, the free testosterone will tend to be between 1.5% and 2%. That's it, of the overall testosterone. So if you've got fairly high, anything over, I think anything over 500, like if you're at 800 testosterone, it's high, right, overall. Right, but if you're anywhere like 600, something like this, you're good. Right, but you need about 2% or 1.5%, 2% of that to be available as free testosterone. So when you're looking at your blood report, you want your overall testosterone, you want your free testosterone, and then there's another really important one, which is actually a protein called SHBG. I've wrote it down here, sex hormone binding globulin, right, SHBG. This is really, really important because if your SHBG is really high, that will reduce. What it does is it binds all the hormones or your testosterone and stops it being available as free testosterone. So if your SHBG is really high and you run a little quick calculator on the amount of free testosterone versus your overall, you'll tend to find that it's below the 1.5% and definitely not the 2% at the higher end. So you've got to reduce your SHBG. And I remember seeing Paul Saladino, the keto guy, really big online. He's like a carnivore guy, right? I know he's switched now. He does a lot of different things. He was like pure carnivore, and he has some really good videos on lowering your SHBG. And he was doing things like, one of the problems is when you're eating carnivore diet is you'll end up with like silly amounts of iron in your blood. And high iron count is one of them things that picks up your SHBG. So he was doing things like having phlebotomy, like basically drawing blood, taking out the iron and putting the blood back in, like a bloody blood transfusion to lower his iron count. So, and I had this problem once when I was first getting my bloods done. I realised that I was taking loads of iron supplementation and I was eating a load of meat, and my iron was way high. So all I did was just cut back on the supplementation and it just dropped down. So you've got to watch where your SHBG is. The other one is too high in vitamin C as well for a guy. Now you need vitamin C for your health, but you don't want too much. So you've got to watch your SHBG to make sure your free testosterone is available. because it's not the overall, you know, it doesn't matter how high your testosterone is, it's what you've got available that matters, right? So, yeah, so you can pick up your overall testosterone just by living healthily, eating a whole foods diet, training a lot, getting little wins in life. And then you've got to look at, when you get your bloods done, look at the SHBG, you know, and start playing around. Is your iron too high? Look at your, the other one is, I've got here, once you've got your hormones in check, the other one is, you know, important, as well as the three big supplements that I mentioned: creatine, collagen, glycine. What are the other things that you want to have? Definitely vitamin D3, and then K2 with it as well. Really important. I would supplement that anyway, especially in the winter time where we get less sunlight, because vitamin D is like a hormone, really. And then the other bits, you just tweak it, you know what I mean, according to your needs. So I take, on vitamins, at the most I've ever taken, I used to take like 40 different, I was like, you know, what's he called, Brian Johnson, the biohacking guy. He takes like 100 tablets a day or something. I was taking like 40, all separates, right? Absolutely everything, like, but now I've kind of reduced it back. The things that I have is D3, K2, some fish oils, glucosamine, a little bit of B12, but I generally get enough from my diet. I take vitamin C not every day, on alternate days, because I'm watching my SHBG. And other things that I have is like for hair, right? I've got a section here on hair as well. So there's certain vits that you want to have for hair. So like B12, B complex, zinc, biotin. So zinc, most people are zinc deficient. So I always take zinc, biotin, and then a little bit of vitamin C, but you've got to notice the trade-off with too much, like I said, on your SHBG. And then there's some like trace minerals, like I know that I've got here Dr. Berger's one that he sells for an absolute fort. It's like 60 quid. It's an absolute daylight robbery. But it does have these special, there's also like all sorts of Neurocrine tablets and hair tablets out there. But yeah, the main thing is to get your zinc, biotin, and then another supplement that I have, not to do with hair again, more to do with hormones. Another good one that you can take for hormones is boron, right? A little bit of boron. And I actually got a section on life extension and biohacking supplements. I've played around with all these NMN, spermidine, NAD boosters, all this kind of thing, coenzyme Q10. I played around with these. There's, I think, Dave Sinclair was sort of promoting, you know, the biohacking, famous biohacker. He was promoting using, what was it called now? The thing that they give to old people. Cannot remember the name of it now. One of his big, but NMN is one of the ones, and transresveratrol is one of them general over-the-counter things that you could supplement with. That's on supplements. I actually did, I think I've got a video or two on that. I'll probably put in the description later, on supplements. Send me an email if you want help with getting bloods done and supplementation. But remember that supplements are secondary to the whole foods diet, high protein whole foods diet. And I'd just advise you to start with them. Just recap again, 3 most important supplements: creatine, collagen, glycine. Next section on my website is all the meals. So I've got here the keto eggs and salmon. I've got a link to that on my channel. It's a really good, best breakfast you can have. I've never met anyone who doesn't like that breakfast. So give that a go. It's basically eggs, and you know what you're looking at. All the meals that I've got on my website, they're all whole foods, high protein, low overall calories, right? And they're all about lower carbohydrate as well. So them 4 things that I say at the start, whole foods, no processed, high protein, good quality protein, low overall calories, and generally low body inflammation through lower carbohydrates, certainly no white carbohydrates. All my meals, apart from one of them, covers that. And the one that doesn't cover it is it's like a pasta bake, but to be honest, I'm only putting a tiny bit of pasta in. It's mainly veg. That's just because it's a family meal, you know, you've got to cook for everyone. And some people just complain if they don't get carbs, they just can't handle it. You know, they haven't got they just have the cravings. But in terms of meals, yeah, the eggs and salmon is the best breakfast if you ask me. And I've never met anyone that doesn't like it, unless you're allergic to eggs. Low overall calories. This one here now, per portion, you're looking at 471 calories overall. 40 grams of protein. That's insane. You know, there's a lot of fat in it, but you want fats in the morning rather than carbs. The next one is this gourmet beef, which is just the one meal that you can live off. You can eat it. This will literally sort your body composition out. This one meal, you could literally eat that. I pretty much live off it, right? And I've got a really good YouTube video on it. It's just beef with some veggies in it, a little bit of salad, done. And per portion here now, for 568 calories, you've got 65 grams of protein. Like, can you imagine? You can eat that 3 times, absolutely smash your protein goals, and still be in a massive calorie deficit. So then you can go, right, what I'm going to eat now, 100% dark chocolate or whatever, right? Or just smash it out with some nuts or something, whatever. So you could eat that. If anyone's ever struggling, they're always thinking, I can't get enough protein and I've got to supplement with flipping protein shakes and all that. Try and avoid protein shakes. You can get it out of diet, right? Eggs and good quality protein, animal meat, are going to give you the best sort of health in terms of growth for your muscles and things, more than any fucking protein shake. They should be secondary. So if you're really struggling to get protein in your diet in a day, then have a shake. But other than that, you could literally just eat this sort of beef dish. And I do as well. When I cook it, I cook like 3/4 of a kilo of meat at once, you know what I mean? And then I can divide it up into 3, 250 grams a time, like this. And yeah, what's that, 130, 195 grams, that's all I need to eat. And I'll be there now, what's that, 1,200, 1,800 calories. Think of the deficit I'm in already. I could have anything. I could have flipping ice cream on top of that and I'd still be in a cut. This chicken salad one's a good one. Pretty self-explanatory there. Look at if you think about like salad, right? You could literally eat half a kilo of salad, right? And there'd be like 100 calories in it, nothing in it whatsoever. And salad's really good, but you do need to eat a lot of it. Like, salad's really good for your micronutrients, but you need to eat absolutely tons of it, and it fills you up. You're like this, you know, you've eaten a massive bowl of salad, really heavy. And I like a Greek salad, you know, like a heavier salad. So if you're gonna have lettuce, you want to chop it up nice and fine so it doesn't bulk. And then you want lots of heavy stuff like I love cucumber, obviously onion, tomatoes, that kind of thing. So it's quite heavy. And then if you want to make it interesting, because salad can be quite bland, all I do, salt and pepper, right, Himalayan pink salt, pepper, put some cayenne pepper in it and garlic, right, mix it around like that in a salad bowl and it's already quite tasty. And then if you really need to, just add a bit of light mayo, like light mayonnaise, right, and mix it up like that. And then just put chicken in with it, right, and it's fine. It's like, and here now, if you look at this chicken salad recipe, 379 calories. How many times a day can you eat that? For 55 grams of protein, right? And it's just so much in terms of, you know, you think chicken, it's really high in protein. And chicken's generally lean. But you can also have, I've got one here, sirloin steak and salad. Steak and salad, steak and veg, chicken and veg, chicken and salad, sirloin, avocado and mushroom. So you can just keep, all you need to do is veg or salad with something like meat or chicken, right? And you're good. And that is all you need to do. And all them meals they all do the same thing. I've got the chicken pasta bake, which is for the family. This is like if you've got to feed a few people and they just can't cope without having some carb because they're weak. Do this one, right? It's really quick. You can prepare this in 20 minutes. And I would only put max 40 grams of pasta per portion. So it's mainly vegetable, right? And it's really quick. You can prepare that one really fast. And then the last one I had on here was my, it's not really Whole Foods, protein ice cream frappe. I've got a video on that. It's just like a frappe that I make that's got protein. And I put the creatine, glycine and collagen mixed in with it. And it tastes really nice. So that's it really in terms of diet. And what you find if you stick to, like I've got loads of recipes, I've got like spreadsheets full of them. But if you just stick to that as a principle, like protein, salad, protein, veg, multiple times a day, right? What's your overall calories, whole foods? You will literally you'll maintain a really good body composition and it'll, like, you'll be sharper as well. Like I remember, like when you go lower carb as well, keto, like, and talk a little bit more about whether you go low carb or whatever, right? So when you go low carb, your brain's sharper, right? I remember once you get off the cravings of bad carbohydrates, you find it much easier to fast because you what's called fat adapted. So your body really, you get to a point where your body can't tell the difference between dietary fats and body fat. So just start eating out your fat cells if you're not consuming enough, which means it makes it so easy for you to fast. Like I can literally go hours and hours. Like I can like wake up in the morning, go training really early, like get up at 5 or whatever, go train jiu-jitsu, come home, train weights, not need to eat while like the afternoon, and that's intermittent fasting. Now, I remember once I sat a professional exam a few years ago, and I was 2 days fasted in pure keto, just went fasted 100%, just water. And I went into the exam 2 days fasted and absolutely aced it because my brain was like super sharp. Now, I do eat some carbs now. I've relaxed a lot. I went strict keto for a bit and then realised that I was under the illusion that it was the keto that was losing the weight. It wasn't. It was the fact that I was consuming fewer calories. You know, it was the fact that I was in a calorie deficit that mattered, not whether I was eating fats or carbs. But I choose generally to go low carb for health reasons, just because it lowers your inflammation. And I do accept that if your only goal is to get as jacked as fuck, as big as you want, then eating some carbohydrates is going to find it easier in the gym. However, as a trade-off, I'm always looking for what's the best balance. So that's what I do. Let me know what you think in the comments if you want. And I'm going to wrap this up now because I'm talking for a while, but thank you very much to everyone that's contributed, and hope you have a nice day. Go and check out my diet plans and recipes on my website. I think I've stuck a link in the description. Let me know your thoughts. All right, happy to answer any questions as well if you want to shoot me an email. All right, thanks everyone. Hope you have a nice day. And I should do the sign off. See you all next time.